Hello, happy National Scrapbooking Day. I am here with the ScrapGals challenge and I am showing you 3 ways of memory keeping. 3 different methods that I use to record my memories in slightly different ways. So, what I have done is I have scrapbooked a recent hiking trip that my son and I went on, and I've scrapbooked it with a layout and with a pocket page or project life page and in my little traveler's notebook. So I thought I would go through those 3 and share with you why I chose to use 3 different formats, or how they're different, or why even bother with scrapbooking it 3 different times. But this might not be the case for you. Probably it isn't. I mean, everybody's different, but I kind of have different things that I go through, thought processes, when I'm in the different formats between my little traveler's notebook and my pocket pages and my scrapbook layout. So I'll go ahead and share that with you, those ideas. Let me start with the pocket pages. A lot of times when I do an event, sorry this isn't in frame, but all of it anyway. When I do an event like this, a lot of times it's not deliberate, but often I end up with a layout and a pocket page for the event. And that's just because for me, it's easier to document events in project life pages. Much easier. These are very event driven to me. You can add a lot of pictures and just describe what happened, and that's about it. And this one, I usually embellish more actually even on my pocket pages, but this one, I just really liked the pictures, and I thought, they stood well on their own and didn't need much extra. But pocket pages, especially now that my son's getting older, I'm focusing the pocket pages more on him and what he does. Because I've found that as he's gotten older, he's 12 now, he's going to be 13 in October. I've just found that we do a lot more things of our own things, his life and my life. Where when he was a little guy, everything we did was together. And while this is something that we did together, still there's his focus, because he's more of his own person now, and my focus on it. So anyway, this is just simply documenting the event, and that's what usually happens with pocket pages for me. So some landscapes, some of him hiking. We did this for orienteering for Cub Scouts, so we had to use a mapping compass. So I included that little picture. This one of him hiking I thought was really cute. And these 2 are, they're 2 portrait photos, but I printed them on the same 4x6 paper. That's why they have the nice white border around both of them. I thought that was a cool effect. And this is a little centipede that he found, so I took a picture and included that. Actually, he's in that picture too. I thought it had a nice perspective. But yeah, so this is more for my son, and he really, really likes pocket pages. I think because they read more like a comic strip to kids, especially if it's different events in the same spread. He really likes those. So anyway, this is my project life page, and then this is my scrapbook layout. And scrapbook layouts are much more emotional to me. This one just records the facts mostly, and this one is the emotions behind it. And emotions for me are usually either, thoughtful and lovey-dovey with my kid, or funny. I think a lot of things are funny. So I really like to record humor in my pages. This one, it was a little conversation that we had. He was talking about how we were walking in the forest and it was raining, but we weren't really getting that wet because the leaves were catching all the rain. And he said, those funny little things kind of make up the whole nature experience. And I just thought that was so profound coming from a 12-year-old. So I recorded that little conversation there. And then this one was just my thoughts on how awesome he is to hang out with. You know, you hear about kids hitting the preteen years and the teen years and getting all angsty and stuff, but I mean, we get along great. He's just my little BFF, and we have the best time. And it just really occurred to me that I need to spend as much time with him as I can before, you know, he realizes that other teenagers are more fun or whatever. So those are my thoughts there. So you can see that this is what happened, and this is kind of how I felt about it at the time. And these are both with my Cocoa Daisy April scrapbooking kit, mostly with the Day in the Life kit that has all the exclusive pocket cards. So all of these prints are actually exclusive Cocoa Daisy prints. Yeah, so that's that. And I often, when I do make a layout and a pocket page that kind of go together, I often try to use some coordinating elements so that the spread blends. I mean, I don't really care if they match or not, but if it's the same event, it kind of makes sense that they match. So you can see that I used the same color scheme across the layout, and I added a few of these little puffy sticker sequins, and you know, some of the same word fatty. Yeah, so it just really blends nicely, and it makes a pleasing spread. It kind of lets you know that, hey, these two go together. So those are the scrapbooking side of it. The Project Life page for my documenting the facts, and the scrapbook page is documenting how I felt about it. And then I've just started playing around with the Midori this past year. It's probably been since, I think it was September, that I started playing in it, and I really love it. It's so much fun. And this is my first true traveler's notebook usage. I've used it for planning, and I've made like a day in the life one, and I've done Chamel's Learn Something New Every Day class in it, and different things like this. But as a true original traveler's notebook, you take it with you on your travels. This is the first time I've done that, and it's been really fun. I've got some pages that I'm working on from our Texas trip that I'll share when I'm finished. But this is my Tennessee pages, and so I'm going to write Tennessee there, just so I know that this starts the Tennessee pages, which is where we live. But I mean, staycations, right? Enjoy where you live. That's the idea behind it. But anyway, this is the same event from the Project Life page and the layout, but this is more creative expression, saving all the little details that aren't necessarily going to find their way into a full-size layout or even a pocket page that's geared toward my kid. I don't necessarily want to preserve all these flower pictures for him. I mean, he likes the flowers, but he probably doesn't want as many on his pages as I do. But this is also, you know, my random thoughts about what's going on our travels. So let me just show you and kind of explain it that way. It'll probably make more sense. So this is the map, the brochure that we picked up because we needed a map to do orienteering. So I just washi taped that in there. You can see it's a little tip in. And I stapled one of the landscape photos that I took. I just stapled it on there. And I realized staples probably aren't the best thing for photos, but I've got this digitally. It's not a big deal to me if it's preserved forever. I'm just enjoying the process, really. So that's that. And then so behind the brochure, I didn't have time to do all. I'm not trying to be super scientist or anything, but I did pick out a couple of the flowers that I had a particular interest in, and I I researched them and figured out what they were. And like this one, I swear it took me an hour to figure out what kind of milkweed that was. Anyway, and this one I thought it was like a wild hellebore, but it was a wild geranium. Who knew? Now I know. But so I just researched those two and made some little notes about them. So that was fun. And then over here, this is another wildflower. And actually this is one that I see all the time, and I wasn't really going to bother photographing it. It just didn't really interest me. But then I noticed that my son just kept commenting on it. And so that made it more special. It brought it to my attention. And so I did take some pictures of it after all. And I wrote some notes on there. I just went ahead and glued the paper to the card so it would kind of stay where I wanted it to. And wrote my thoughts about perspective. So that had a double meaning for me, because if you notice, the flowers are taken from different perspectives. This is head on and this is a side view. So there's that literal interpretation of perspectives. And then also I wrote about the perspective of how the flower became more beautiful to me when my son noticed it. So that changing perspective. And also, even once I did decide to take the pictures, I realized I'd never photographed it with a macro lens, and it's just a completely different view. So anyway, those were my thoughts with that. You can see how it's just super random. And this is much more expressive for that kind of thing. So then this page, this was another little flower, and I was very much struck by how, I mean, this one is bright yellow, yes, but most of the flowers were really white or super pale pink in the woods under the trees. And so I just loved the elegance of it and wanted to capture that. But like, things like this are hard to photograph because they're, you know, against a dirt backdrop and everything. And anyway, so it was fun to just kind of sketch it real quick. And this was actually the first time that I made myself sketch with a pen instead of a pencil, because I just wanted to get it done and try it out. So yeah, I mean, it's not the best, but I kind of like it. It serves the purpose. So that was another thought that I had, another thing I wanted to record. And then this one, I was actually walking down the path and saw these leaves on the side and thought, oh wow, I want to paint leaves on the side of the page with my watercolors. And so I took a picture to remind myself to do that, and I did that. And you can see I did okay. I mean, it's a learning process. I'm not a watercolor artist by any means. I've just started, really, but it's a fun thing to learn. And so I was playing, and I had a really awkward spot here where the leaves weren't, I didn't know how to blend the two leaves into each other, and it looked really quite awkward. So then I ended up taking some of my distress stains and just splatting them on there and blowing them out. So it kind of broke up that edge and made it look better. And then so I ended up putting some yellow on there too, just to balance it. But that was kind of fun. Then I doodled a frame, and I journaled here. And this journaling is actually, I know you're wondering about the eyeglasses, but I was slightly annoyed when I got there because I realized that I'd worn my glasses and I can't photograph very well in my glasses. I need to wear my contacts to take good pictures. So that was semi-annoying, but I didn't let it bother me because I didn't want to like be in this beautiful park and be annoyed because I was wearing glasses instead of contacts. That's just silly. And, you know, I kind of figured that, well, it's just another opportunity to come at another time. Luckily, some of my pictures turned out okay, so that was good. This one did not. You can see, like, I wanted my son to be out of focus, but this leaf should have been in focus instead of those. But anyway, it's just kind of reminds yourself to take it easy and not let little things stress you out. So, that is what I have. 3 different ways to document the same event. So I did it in my traveler's notebook, just my random thoughts and feelings on the little trip. And I did the scrapbook page, which is more my feelings, and the pocket life page, pocket page or project life page that's, you know, documenting the event itself. So I don't know if you do different things like this, but I love paper. That's just all there is to say about it. I love paper. But my challenge for you, if you are playing along with the ScrapGals National Scrapbook Day Challenge, my challenge to you is to document a day out in nature, or an encounter with nature, let's say. It doesn't need to be the whole day out, but document an encounter with nature in any way you like. If you like scrapbook, pocket, mini album, whatever. Document an encounter with nature. So I hope that was interesting and informative, and let me know. Join the ScrapGals. I'll put a link down below in case you're not familiar, and I will chat with you later. Bye.